again, when we talk about zoning and planning, for me, the question is, where are industries supposed to be located? Where are residential facilities supposed to be? And things like that. So in terms of the larger question of planning and allocation of spaces within our cities, this is why things are done that way. So that if it is an industry or it's a company, it should be cited quite separately from where residential facilities are. But we have not done very well with that, with that spatial planning and management, because we keep changing zoning laws. And you realize that in a lot of places in Accra, we talk about mixed development. And I don't think that is proper. We need to look at those things very carefully. Because when you plan those things properly, it goes into dealing with issues such as this risk, fire. Again, on that premises, if there was plastic stored there, for what purposes? Was it a company? And did they have other chemicals in-house, in storage? Who gave them the permit to store those things there? Did they have a fire permit from the fire service? Issues like that. Was there a fire hydrant close by? So that if it was an industrial area, then the fire service could have been better equipped to possibly deal with the fire. But this again lends to the fact that historically, anytime there's been a fire outbreak and we've done investigations, we have never shared the information with the public as to what causes the fire.
I understand the reports is at a cost.
No, you see, at a cost to who?
Whoever seeks to know.
No, you see, in
I think it should be published by the fire service.
Look, again, I'll cite cite many examples. Go to most of the developed countries. The fire that engulfed a whole tower in the UK and burnt and people lost their lives. The bridge that collapsed in Italy. All of the, if you go online today, Fukushima nuclear disaster, all those things are online. So why should us here be treating it as if again it's a cost center, somebody must pay for it? We must publish it because the purpose of investigating accident is to prevent it from recurrence. And if you want to prevent recurrence, one of the first things you have to do is to share the causes of the outbreak of the fire or the accident, so that people will know that, oh, if we do this, it could lead to a fire. If we do this, it could lead to a fire. So for me, those excuses about somebody must come and pay for it or you must request for it before it is given to you, it's neither here nor there. And especially I get saddened when people make excuse that it is national security. I mean, we shout everything in national security and walk away with it. I mean, it's needless. These are fires that continue to engulf people. The market fires are a ritual here in Ghana. Nobody shares any reports with anyone. And for me, that is disappointing.
Very well. Alhaji, your thoughts on this? Is our fire service even well equipped? Do they have the resources to combat the type of fires we're seeing?
So, Nana, good morning. Let me say that I cannot agree more with engineer. I think he has said it all. But permit me to say that if you look at fire outbreaks in this country, it is important that we have a holistic policy in dealing with these issues. And the issues are multifaceted. For example, he raised one big issue. Is it a case that we have poor planning, poor zoning? For me, it could be one. If you look at Tema Enclave, you realize that it was properly planned. And in most cases, you hardly will hear this kind of things when it comes to the Tema Enclave. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but because of the proper planning. Now, if you look at residential areas, it is important that as a country we have a policy.
But you know that now, Tema, we've managed to destroy that thing.
Exactly so. But if you look at the history, you realize that
we are rezoning or repurposing, I don't know. We've managed to destroy the beautiful part of Nkrumah.
That takes me to my next point. Law enforcement is one of the things. We should not just sit down and allow some of these fire outbreaks to occur. Then we go in there, we set up committees, we pay them money and say, let them go and do investigation. For me, we should be looking at the preventive aspect of it. Nana, you just have to ask yourself questions. If somebody is putting up a building, there are various stages of permits that you need to acquire before you can have a building. Whether it is residential or commercial, whatever it is. It will interest you to note that if you go to the MMDC, the assemblies, people who are supposed to ensure that they go to site to inspect and give you the needed permit. In most cases, they say that you come with the greatest of respect, just give them a token, and then they issue you the permit. As to where you are going to site your building as permissible by law or not, for me, it's immaterial. What is good for them is that you've given them something and they are okay. I think these are issues that we need to look at. Then we must also look at our readiness as a nation. And that is the point that he indicated clearly. Now, sometimes you call the fire service. Then it takes you 3 hours. If you have fire outbreak in your house, may God forbid, then it takes the fire service 3 hours to appear in your house. You can imagine what would have happened to you. 3 hours, virtually your building would have been down. I think that we also need to look at our readiness as a nation in terms of fire service. And then even the electricity company, EC. I am of the firm opinion that when it comes to wiring of facilities, whether residential or commercial, I think that they also need to be firm on who is qualified to wire your house. You know, there are people who are licensed.
I think that comes under the purview of the Energy Commission.
Yes, and that who are licensed to be able to do that. Nana, is that what is happening in this country?
No.
People go on a roadside, then they see a small billboard. I'm a proper electrician. If you need service, this is my number. Then you call the person, he comes to wire your house. He doesn't have the requisite qualification, the requisite engineering skills to be able to even advise you. At the end of the day, he does a poor wiring. Then the effect will be that you end up experiencing some of these things. I think that we need a holistic policy. There's something I've been thinking when we come to issues of disaster in this country. I think that this issue of not making reports public, for me, is problematic. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the report, what will guide you in the future, for me, is not there. Let's have the report. Let's read the report. If there are people that we need to punish for negligence, I think that we should begin to take drastic action. Otherwise, people can just get away with some of these issues. Then to conclude, the market fires, you know, in this country, as he said, it's like virtually seasonal, or if you can put it for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Now, can it be coincidence?
Can it not be?
I don't know. I'm just posing a question. Can it just be the case that every year you have some specific markets?
And it's almost always around a specific time.
That is why I'm posing the question.
Or throughout Christmas into New Year.
Precisely the case. That is why I'm posing the question. Can it just be coincident that okay, it's like a celebration. It's Christmas or Eid al-Adha. There's a designated date that we just have to be aware that this period, your market will burn. It cannot be the case. I think it is important for policymakers, government, and all of us as citizens to have our eyes on the ball and see that these are issues that we should not be joking. And you know the effect of these fires.
True.
Look, people usually will even die. You remember the Agoisi fire?
Yeah.
I saw so many people collapsing because if you have gone in for a loan and you've built your business over a period of 15, 20 years, that is where you pay your children's school, that is where you feed, that is where you yourself, you survive. And there are other dependents. Then all of a sudden, within a twinkle of an eye, you lose all of this.
You don't even have insurance.
You know, our awareness in terms of insurance in this country is problematic. So that is the challenge. Even houses, respectfully, there are even people who are very highly educated. Their houses are not insured. Not to talk of our mothers who are doing their small businesses in the market. I think that we have to look at it, just to conclude, two things. One, planning. Two, law enforcement and regulation. And then the last one is making our reports public so that we can punish people to serve as deterrents in the future.
Very well.